to our guests. We have no additional announcements for today. So at this time, I would like to invite the bodyguards, aka Grayson and Sloan, to the stage to introduce their sister and friend and our chapel speaker, Kerrigan.
Grayson here, also Kerrigan's bodyguard. I'm Kerrigan's younger sister, and I've been waiting forever to be able to introduce her. Kerrigan loves her emo music. Sometimes she forces me to listen to it, and it's really a lot. Yeah, you just gotta trust me on that. Also, she forces this upon me in the car, where I never get to play what I want. And also, she turns up the volume so loud, I think I might go deaf. So don't be surprised if I get hearing aids early. Okay, past that, she's always been there for me, and she supports me like no other person. She's the sister I truly needed in life and can depend on so much. I'm so honored when people say we look alike because of her beauty inside and out. I'm so impressed with her art, and honestly, I wish I could do what she does. Every day I aspire to be more like you, maybe not driving-wise and food-wise, basically any other way. I can't believe you're going to college in a couple months, and I wish you the best of luck to find your dream place with plenty of pizza and a bookstore nearby. I'm going to miss you so much next year, and I love you, and here's a little thing for Mom. Okay, you have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes, you can steer yourself in any direction you choose. You're on your own, and you know what you know, and you are the guy who will decide where to go.
I have had the pleasure of watching Kerrigan grow from the little girl she once was when we first met 13 years ago into the kind and mature friend I know of her now. My favorite thing about Kerrigan is how she loves. Her love is humble and steadfast. She is selfless and constantly serves others in her actions and words. She loves with a contagious passion that inspires others around her, but the greatest thing about her love is that it is not of herself, it is an overflow of her love for the Lord. She's also very patient. For example, one night in 8th grade, I was brushing my hair and realized there was a knot. So like any good friend would do, I decided to cut it out of my hair, put it in a gift bag, and deliver it to Kerrigan. I still remember the speechless look on her face when she reached her hand into the bag before looking and pulled out a clump of my hair. I do not know how Kerrigan has put up with me all these years, including those many middle school months where I frequently catfished her with fake Pinterest accounts, but she has been a constant friend through it. Kerrigan doesn't say much, but I know what she does say today is going to be full of wisdom and will touch hearts just like how she was touching mine. And your Chapel Talk speaker, Kerrigan Alexis Coverly.
Thank you, Sloan and Grayson, so much for my introduction. You guys haven't failed to make me laugh. Thank you to all my guests for being here, and a special thank you to the Coverly clan, especially my parents. You guys have done so much for me and my siblings, and I'm incredibly grateful for all the opportunities you've given me. I love you guys so much. Shout out to my rat Gemma, you are so talented and amazing, and I hope that you will treasure every moment here. I have always been fascinated with vampires. Not with the whole blood-sucking thing and killing people, because that's gross, but with their immortality. From watching The Vampire Diaries to reading Dracula, It has always intrigued me to see how an immortal spends their time. Do they use their never-ending lifespan to do good in the world or bad? Do they lose faith in humanity or fall in love with a human even though they know that one day they will have to watch them grow old and die without them? There are countless works of literature and film centered around vampires, but my personal favorite is Twilight. For those of you not familiar with Twilight, it's a love story between Bella, a teenage girl who moves to Michigan to live with her father, and Edward Cullen, a student at her high school who she soon discovers is a vampire. Whether you're a lover or hater of the Twilight movies, you have to admit they are rife with cringiness. But I think that's what makes them even more entertaining. I know the movies are supposed to be a chronicle of this super angsty and dramatic love story, but I personally think that they are the definition of comedy. Because with scenes such as the one where Edward says, "This is the skin of a killer, Bella," while his entire body is sparkling like he just crawled out of a giant vat of glitter, it's impossible not to laugh. In the first Twilight movie, Edward takes Bella to his house to meet his family, who are also vampires, and after a very awkward meeting with his parents, he takes her on a tour of his home. When they come to the door of his bedroom, Bella sees that there are countless books and music scattered all throughout his room. She walks around his room looking at his music collection, which spans from classical artists of the 1800s to more current artists of rock and pop. This progression through music genres and artists, and also the variety of music devices, from CDs to cassette tapes to vinyls, all symbolically mark Edward's progression through time. Each time I watch this scene, I feel jealous because of all the decades of music Edward got to witness, but it also makes me wonder how I would spend my time if I knew that I too had an eternity to live. Unlike the Cullens, I personally would not want to spend eternity in high school, but that begs the question, what would I do? I've thought about this question many times. What would I do if I could live forever? I can't be the only one who's pondered this, and even if you never have, you're probably thinking about it now. If you knew you had forever, what would you do? Would you drop out of school or quit your job and travel the world? Become involved in an organization that you're passionate about but never had time for? Or maybe set out on a journey to try every exotic food you can think of? Or would you never do anything because you would always tell yourself that you have eternity to get to it? For years now, I've had this constant feeling of running out of time. Maybe it's due to anxiety or my long-standing habits of procrastination, but it feels like most days, time is my enemy. I'm always racing against the clock, especially senior year, trying to meet deadlines for applications, essays, homework assignments, and this chapel talk. I've had so many interests over the years that I haven't pursued because I felt that there wasn't enough time for them in my already hectic life. I find myself always forced to choose. Have fun with friends or finish an essay due tomorrow. Join this club I find interesting or leave that help class time open to do homework. It feels like an impossible task with the time that I have to be a good student, good athlete, good leader, good classmate, good friend, sister, and daughter. I'm sure many of you feel this way too, especially as students at GPS. In a life where it feels like we are jumping from one thing to the next with no time to rest, immortality can begin to seem pretty enticing. Wouldn't it be amazing to have forever to live your life, to finally have the time to do everything you've ever dreamed? There'd be time to learn to speak every language, master every trade, learn every instrument, travel to every country, etc. You start thinking of everything you could do, all you could accomplish, if only we had all the time in the world. If only I had more time, I would volunteer more, read my Bible more, practice the guitar more, spend time with my family more. If only I had more time. It's easy to get lost in these if-onlys. I can envision a whole new life in my head, one where I have all the time in the world, where I don't have to choose between things because I have time to do it all. I have found myself seeking solace in these if-onlys, when meanwhile, in this life where we do have to choose, I felt like the choices I was making were the wrong ones. Instead of making memories with friends and family, I've stayed at home and done homework. Instead of joining a club or activity I was interested in, I missed out so I could have more free time. I would have given anything to not have to choose anymore, to not have to regret. When creating my college resume, I would look at the list of my activities and accomplishments, and all I could see was that all that I didn't do. I became so disappointed in myself, thinking, if only. If only I had more time, if only I could go back and choose differently. But then slowly, I began to realize that there was no point to these if-onlys, because that's what they were, if-onlys. Things that will never happen, no matter how much I wish for them to. I can't go back in time and live my life differently. I can only choose how I live my life now. I don't have forever, and I will have to choose, but now I know that that's okay. We don't have time to do everything, but even if we did, would we really? If we didn't have a limited amount of time, we wouldn't have any urgency. We wouldn't treasure the ones we love, knowing that one day they'll be gone. Time is not a constriction. It's a means of self-revelation. It reveals what holds the most value in your life, because those things are what you've chosen to occupy the time that you have. The finiteness of our time here on earth is what makes it special. That's why as seniors, each moment this year feels even more important to us as we realize just how little time left we have at this school. Even in these first few months, we've already felt a difference because of the sudden realization of how quickly it's all going to end. Moments seem even more precious when we can count on one hand the number of times we will do something again before it is the last time. We've already had a lot of lasts. Last opening day, last cat rat parade, last rivalry week. Did you find yourself thinking back to these events in years past and wishing you would have appreciated them more? I know I did. We can't change the past. We can't go back and relive a moment or change a decision. But what we can do is move into the future with a new mindset, to always live like this, aware that the time that we have now is all we're gonna get, and instead of letting that scare us or make us sad, allowing that knowledge to help us choose to spend our time wisely, to not waste it, to spend it with the ones we love. We don't need forever to make our lives meaningful, we just need now. Time is going to pass no matter how you spend it, and eventually that time will end. So live your life so that when it does end, you can know that you spent it well. And now my time is out on this chapel talk, so thank you.